TMI, every opinion counts.
Yes, of course, every opinion counts on TMI every other day, Sunday to Thursday on this platform. Today is World Press Freedom Day, a day set aside globally by UNESCO to draw attention on the need for press freedom and, of course, the benefits that will bring. I have with me in the studio the State Chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Edo State Council, Sir Roland Osakwe. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning, viewers.
Okay, today is World Press Freedom Day. What does this mean for the practice of journalism?
Well, today is a day set aside by the United Nations after the declaration of World Press Freedom Day in 1993. I tell you that World Press Freedom Day is a reflection. It's a day of reflection for all journalists across the world. A lot of countries today are celebrating this World Press Freedom Day. It's always come about or come on every May 3rd of every year.
Okay.
After the declaration by the General Assembly of the United Nations in 1993. Of course, it was UNESCO who propagated it in Windhoek after in April 1991. Yes, April 1991. That a lot of African journalists have to push for it to the General Assembly, and today was set aside for the declaration and commemoration of press freedom worldwide. So today is the day, and a lot of hands are already on deck to commemorate the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is the 25th celebration of this day. Let's look at the theme. How relevant is the theme just now to the realities on the ground in Nigeria and the realities across the globe in terms of press freedom?
Oh yes, this year's theme of press freedom is very, very germane, and it is apt at this particular time because it has to talk of justice and the media in the society. A lot of countries today are practicing democracy.
Okay.
And based on that, when we talk of democracy, you know the press is the fourth estate of the realm. After the three other arms of government, the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So the press, as the watchdog of the nation, the journalists who swallow fire to allow people drink water, has always come up with policy ideas that are reshaping a democracy in any country. Then it is this press that is also sidelined, that are no friends of these other three arms of government. Government must be accountable due to the press power in any state, in any country.
Okay.
They must be held accountable for whatever they do because they are in trust. They are holding position in trust for the people.
Okay.
And you know, the people who put or who elect them to power must be accountable to the people. But in most countries today, reverse is the case, where press are being put in dungeons, where press are being incarcerated, and maybe having one oppressive nature of the arms of government or the other. So we cannot allow this. United Nations has come about and said there must be World Press Freedom Day. It is a reflection on our activities to ensure that the press who are most to also reflect and evaluate the professional ethics of our profession.
Okay.
Then that to also look back to our members who have been victims of oppressive or restraint governments. So these are the reasons why the United Nations look at it and say, yes, the press must be free. And actually, we must assert our independence, which is already there, and the clause that the independence of the press should not be muzzled. That is why today is set aside that will commemorate today as World Press Freedom Day. Then we're also looking at people right out there to ensure that they support the press. Because it is the press that does not sleep. It's always awake 24 hours. The people will go to their bedrooms and sleep, but the press is working round the clock. Let me explain that one further, that after the day's work, the press still go home, listen to news, want to know whatever that is happening around the world. And your community, your immediate community, they want to hear from you. They come to you and say, what is happening in the world today? Yeah. Why is this policy on? Why does Donald Trump does this? Why did this one? This, you know, they continue to ask you questions. As a journalist, you must be an embodiment of news that at any time, any point in time, you should be able to tell people what is happening around them and what is happening around the world. Okay.
So that's more or less like extra work you have to do after you close from work.
Yes,
Okay, now let's look at the component of the theme for this year. You said it talks about keeping power in check. Media, justice, and the rule of law. And that's very fundamental and profound.
Yes.
Well, let's look at the role of the media in keeping power in check.
Yes. I have even mentioned it at the course of my explanation.
Yeah.
But let me adumbrate it again.
Yeah.
That the role of the press in democracy, or the role of the keeping power in check, sometimes the executive and the legislators, they collude and make an oppressive law that will torment the people in the society. After all this, then you have series of protests, riots over the laws that are not in tandem with the people of the society. Then it is the press that comes up to reshaping the policies of whatever they are doing and say, this law that you are about to make, we inform the people that this law will go about this, will go about this and about that. Then the people will now look at it that the law is targeted at some persons in the society. And any law targeted at some persons in the society is not a law. A law should not be tilted towards some people in the society. A law should be generalized. Then the press comes in to inform the people, to educate the people on the essence of policy, of the policy the governments are making towards the oppressive nature of the law, or the oppressive or the oppressive nature of their policies. But if the press now come out to introduce this and put the people on check, they will be afraid and they refrain from whatever they are doing. If the role of the media is silent in any society, that means that society is doomed. There will be an oppressive government, totalitarian government, or autocratic government. Like in the days of the military in Nigeria, let me chronicle, when some of our people were being detained under Decree 2 by the then Buhari-Jagmo administration. Now, Buhari has come to a democratic president. Can he promulgate or can he enact such a law again, or propose it to National Assembly? It is not done. That is why in a democracy, the press strive, because the work of the press in a democratic government is more enormous than what the executive does, or the legislator, or the judiciary. So our work is more enormous because these three organs of government, it is the press that have to check them, that have to put them into a special check to ensure that they don't go outside the ambit of their organs.
Okay. All right. Let's just come back home and look inward a little bit. This has to do with the recent attacks that we've seen in the country, recent killings. I've heard some stakeholders say the press has not been fair to the present administration in the reportage of the achievements, okay? And then that the press also has not been fair in the reportage of the incidents across the country. I don't know what you make of these statements.
Yes. I've had some government officials saying that the press has not been fair. Well, that is their own opinion. The major work of the press, their role, is to report issues the way they see it. The killings across the country, are you saying we should not report it? What is the duty of the press? The massacre in some parts of the country, it should not be reported if it doesn't immediately concern us. But these are people, they are our brothers and
maybe
sisters.
the press is blowing these issues out of proportion.
Yeah.
That's what they mean.
No. It is not true. If an issue happens and government decision is not apt to that issue, the press will come up reporting often and often. That is it. But for somebody to say the press of this country has not been fair to government, what kind of, in which area? That what happens, it should not be reported? I think that is too infantile on those people proclaiming such opinion. It's very infantile. Because if anything happens now, are you saying it should not be reported? That all the killings around across the country, that it should not be reported. If you say it should not be reported, then that is to say, you are trying to employ a means to gag the press. To gag the press. And these are the areas that we are fighting against. That the press should not be gagged. We should not be dictated on what to say or what not to say. We should be able to report issues the way they are. We have the press partakes in the Latin maxim of audit altera partem, that you must hear from the other side. Some government officials, after maybe interview them or an issues happen, then they will say, don't go, just take our... No! We must be able to hear from the other side. That is what the Latin maxim proclaims. Okay. It applies even to us in the press. Audit altera partem. You must hear the other side. That is the law of natural justice. You must be fair to both sides. Hear from this side and hear from the other side. And report the issues the way it is. It's not left for the society to judge. But for somebody to say, oh, the press has not been fair, all the killings and every other thing, is it manipulated by the press? The ones we read on the pages of newspaper, is it manipulated by the press? No. If you feel offended of what is being published, that it is not true, the court is there. Go to court and sue. Test your case in court. If it is correct, then you go home with shame. If it is not correct, the press will be liable. But before that is our ethics. We have an ethical standard that you must hear from the other side, so that you can balance your story and report the story the way it is.
So what do you make of quackery in the profession and financial inducement in the profession, as it were?
A lot of people say there is no profession in the world that we don't have quackery.
Yeah, that would mean we're just wishing it away. Chairman.
There is no profession. Listen, we are not wishing it away. There's no profession in the world that we don't have quackery. But we have also, it matters if you are able to put your people on check. There must be modus operandi. There must be machineries at which to check these people. Like in the NUJ, there is a registration currently going online. You must have the prerequisite. You may have masters or PhD in any profession, and you can write very well. It does not make you a journalist. A journalist, as a journalist, you must acquire the basic education, the basic training to have a certificate in journalism or mass communication. It does not just mean, oh, that you read English in University of California and you can write very well, and maybe you write good English, do everything, so you are not a journalist. No, you are not. You must not circumvent that issue of going to have your PGD, if you already have a degree in other profession, then in journalism or mass communication. So that is what it entails. Okay. Then the online registration now is a way to check quackery in our midst. Those people who does not have a certificate in journalism profession, they will be flushed out. It is a system that will work, because one, if you go and register online and you pay the fee, to an account that the national body of the union will receive, then at the time the people now comes for capturing, data capturing, you should be able to show your certificates.
Okay. Now, just before we let you go, what is the council planning to celebrate this day in 1 minute?
Yes, we've already have a lecture set out today.
Okay.
The lecture is going to be taken by a professor of mass comm in Uniben, Professor Mansell. Then every year we used to go around the streets, meet with security officials, go to government to emphasize the need why the press must be free.
Okay.
And why we should be protected as an organ that is a watchdog to the nation. But this year we have already put an arrangement in place that there will be a public lecture.
Okay.
Everybody is invited to that lecture,
at the council,
whether at the council, at the NUJ secretariat, starting from 10 this morning. Whether you are a press man or not, come and listen.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. I've been talking with Sir Roland Osakwe, who is the state chairman, Edo State chairman, Nigerian Union of Journalists, sharing some thought with us on the 2018 edition of the World Press Freedom Day, with the theme, keeping power in check, media, justice, and the rule of law. All of these are interconnected. Thank you so much, Sir Roland.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a short break. The news is up next. Join us again.